Hi, I'm Philip Duncan from weatherwatch.co.nz with a special Pacific-wide weather forecast for the next 7 days. And we kick off with a look at the current thunderstorms and hurricanes at the moment. We mostly will be covering the South Pacific Islands, which are a little bit hard to see on this map, but down in this area. But it's also worth keeping an eye on what is going on in Hawaii as well. So we've got this former hurricane. It was Category 5 for a time in here, the maximum, but out at sea, so obviously not impacting any land. Now it's a tropical depression falling apart. It is tracking towards Hawaii, but it's not likely to be a storm for them. It's named Jova, or at least it was when it was a hurricane. But pretty quiet down here, not very much in the way of thunderstorms at the moment. Most of those are just up here around the equator. So let's take a look at the bigger picture, and this is the equator right along the middle here. So you've got the Pacific, South Pacific Islands, Fiji, right there to get your sort of bearings, and up here is Hawaii. So you can see that storm Jova, that is tracking towards Hawaii, but like I say, it's falling apart. And as far as the South Pacific's concerned, it's pretty quiet at the moment. There is not a lot of stormy activity around, although a little bit of low pressure out to the east around Tahiti and the Cook Islands. Big areas of high pressure down to the east of New Zealand and out towards Australia. So that's going to keep a little bit of a southerly flow or southeasterly coming in. So let's have a look at a closer up picture of Tuesday. You can see that easterly flow pretty much dominant, at this time of the year for the last few months really, and it will continue on for another few months as we go in towards the cyclone season, which kicks off at the start of November, and it's likely to be a little bit quieter this year. That's what we would normally expect with an El Nino building, which means, as you can see with that big high coming out of Australia, kind of pushes back against them. By the way, Norfolk Island, you're Australia obviously, but we'll talk about you in the Pacific update because it doesn't fit into the Australian map, believe it or not. All right, let's have a look at Wednesday. Again, no real change, plenty of easterly winds. Nothing too major in there showing up at this stage. Now, as we head in towards the end of the week, there is a bit of a development over here in the northwest around around Vanuatu and off towards the Solomon Islands. There is some low pressure forming there. That's likely to drive in rain across Vanuatu and into New Caledonia, but it does stay mostly dry for the rest of the island group. And again, the high pressure zone down towards New Zealand will keep that low pressure zone sort of stuck where it is. And you notice that there on Friday, it does deepen between Fiji and out over here towards Port Vila and Vanuatu. So the low is deepening. The modelling suggests that's about as big as it gets. So a fair bit of rain coming in, downpours for New Caledonia, probably the capital there of Vanuatu. Fiji's just on the outer edges of it. Most of those downpours are out at sea, but you will be getting a few of those as well. And then this weekend, that low starts to fall apart. You see how stretched out it is. It's lost that perfect sort of centre to it, and that rain drops further down around Tonga and parts of Fiji getting the wet weather. Samoa, not too bad, just a couple of showers around, and a similar story over here in Raro. And then we go through to Sunday, and here is the next sort of feature forming, a little bit of low pressure around the Cook Islands. Got a couple of downpours clearing away from Tonga for the most part, and again, easterly winds are dominating, but they turn a little more southerly for a time, so you just might notice your temperatures down a tiny bit with a little bit of that southerly flow. But the big high down here in New Zealand, that's the reason why you're getting a bit of a southeasterly coming in there. And finally, to sort of make sense of it, the best way to actually look at the Pacific Ocean islands, because they're so small, is to look at the big picture with the rainfall. So you can see here up around Hawaii, not much in the way of rain over the next couple of weeks. You're sort of in this zone here. Once you come down to the South Pacific, it is a bit wetter around Samoa, especially around Western Samoa. You're likely to be seeing 100 to 150 millimeters, and that low pressure zone moving through here. So New Caledonia and Fiji, Tonga, right on the edges of it, but you're in that zone where you could be getting up to over 100 millimeters, but the yellow you see in here, 20 to 40. So it's a pretty narrow line between getting decent rain and missing out on it. But you can see the big dry weather coming out from Australia. That's the sign of El Nino. And we are expecting to see fewer rain events like this over the coming months. But we're also going into the wet season soon as well. So it's a bit of a one step forward, one step backwards. But that is our first ever 7-day Pacific-wide island update. We'll be back again in a week. We'll just keep this up for a little while. We'll see how it goes, see what the uptake is like on YouTube. but it's just worth doing a few extra videos at the moment, especially as our weather gets quieter down where I am in New Zealand. That's all from me. weatherwatch.co.nz for more information. We'll be back again soon.